Hello, family, and welcome back to the Ebony Odyssey. My name is Jermaine Long, and I am a servant of the Most High God. I really appreciate you all for coming along, and as always, enjoy the journey. Today's topic is, it's not your job. And the scripture that I'm using for support is Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. And the scripture reads, "He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chastens him betimes." And I'm reading that in the King James Apocryphal version. So to describe or to define the word betimes, which is used, it says betimes defined is in good time, in a short time, or at times, meaning occasionally. So back to this scripture. Family, I have two boys, and I have, watched a lot of content here recently dealing with the red pill community, and it's more so teaching men, how to value themselves and, how to conduct themselves as young men. I do enjoy that content because it gets back to the nature of a man and the essence of how he's supposed to act and interact. And people can, you'll have your own opinions of it. And so, hey, to each his own. But in my mind, in my opinion, and in my thoughts going forward, this is absolutely correct. He, not she, because he, the father of the house, is the one who has to nurture the son, who has to train the son, who has to guide the son. And if she is the one that's in charge, or in a single parent household, she is not going to correct the son as necessary. And she's going to spare him in times because, this is it. You don't have to agree with me, but we all know that, women can understand women more and men can understand men more. So when the women have daughters, they don't let them get away with the little things that the men would normally let a daughter get away with. And this is vice versa for the women who are the mothers, and they're trying to correct or discipline and guide their son. They don't understand the man's nature or male nature. So sometimes the things that they will allow to slide are things that men need to correct in order to make a self-sufficient, strong man that can lead a family. And so, on our journey here, we go through this a lot. I know when it's time for correction, I will be the one doing 99% of the correction. No, I send my wife to check and to, make inquiry. That way, they know, oh, well, hey, dad's about to get up. When dad gets up, it's going to be trouble. So go ahead and do what mom says and listen right now, because once dad gets up, he doesn't care what I'm going to say. He's just going to discipline me. And, that's going to be that. And that's just really how it goes with, young men. I see them here on the continent, and they're growing, and they're mature, and they're walking, to school. And, the older children are making sure the younger children are on the inside. And if a younger child gets out of line, they are spanked right then by the older child with little to no rebuttal. Just because, the men lead the men here, and it is no wavering on that. And, for us in America, I grew up in a single parent household, so I understand, a lot of things that I got over with on my mother. So, reading this scripture, it says, "He that spareth his rod hateth his son." And, that is the case, because if you don't force them to do certain things, or you don't require certain effort from your children, you need that in their lives to put that pressure on them. I read memes and things of that all the time where it says, something about, oh, you don't have to do this or do that with your kids. And I'm thinking like, man, that is exactly why our kids are so soft now. Our kids are marshmallows. They cry because they become feminized to a certain point that they're not strong enough or independent enough to think and do and act accordingly. And then, later on down the line, these men make, horrible candidates for husbands because they're too weak physically or too weak minded and too weak spiritually to even lead a household. So like I said, guys, it's just my understanding of things. And this is not how, I'm choosing to raise my children. And everybody to each his own. But for me and my wife, I'm glad we have this balance because I can always give the male perspective. Me growing up in Mississippi, going to the military, working a job. And now, I get to teach my kids and show them, honestly, I'm the pointer. I'm the supervisor of my children. I point and they do. And if they have a problem with that, they just do, because it's not a lot of rebuttal with man on man. Now they will rebut and try to get out of things with their mother. But for me, it's just, hey, come up here and you're going to do what I say until you're tired. And when you're tired, you're going to figure out how to get through that. And you're going to keep going, because guess what? Nobody cares if you're tired, sick, or hurt or injured, because at the end of the day, a man has to be a man, and we all have a role to play in what we're going to do in this society, in life. So family, this is a great scripture to understand that differences between men and women, as I say, based on, some of the things that I've seen, understanding this red pill community, understanding how he is important, because he that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes, or occasionally. And yes, men have to be the one that's chastening or disciplining them, because that's the way they will understand, how to conduct themselves around other men. Some things are not appropriate, and when men address them in a certain way, they understand that. And for a man to address another young man, we don't let the emotions get involved. It's not about how you feel or, what do you think? It's just about the action. Because, I remember my kids being young. And I'm sorry, I'm going long, guys, but I really think this is a great scripture to elaborate on. But I remember when my boys were young and I would take them to the park, and I would see children, out there, and they would just be running around. They would be enjoying themselves. They would be playing hard. They would be having fun. And when, it was something that may have come up that was dangerous, something they shouldn't go, they shouldn't run in the street, or, they had to be more careful, it was that voice, that feminine voice that would say, stop. And the kids would not listen. They would continue on, and they would end up, almost getting hurt, getting hit by a car, falling off or something, running into someone who is swinging. It was always those sort of issues. But, when I would speak, with a loud, deeper voice, you would see all of the kids, even the moms, they would turn and like, oh, hey, he's speaking. Because I'm telling my kids, or I'm instructing them, that it's either time to go. And I don't care if you don't like it, it is time to go. And if I have to say it again, I'm going to come and I'm going to spank you, because I don't have time to play around. This is the time you've been allotted. Now that time is over, we have to go forward, because it's other things we have to do throughout the day. And, guys, I love these talks, and I wish I could have them more. But this is just some of the journey that I'm on. And for men teaching their sons, and for women in the unfortunate circumstance that they're teaching alone, you need to have that male role model in your son's life to help guide him when those times come that he needs that male figure. But guys, I appreciate you for listening. And as always, enjoy the journey.